Kathleen.
There she is. Diana Sport.
There you are, right?
I wish I was in IAM sport right now. Crazy.
She's
Wishful
coming from the
thinking.
Kennedy Council.
Yes.
Kathleen. Okay, Gary, we're live.
Okay.
Jeff, if you hit mute on that, because we can hear ourselves speaking back. Yeah, either mute the TV or mute the.
That's what I usually turn it down here. There we go. There we go. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jane. Good evening and welcome to the Borough Council Special Meeting, September 24th, 2025 at 7 p.m. In attendance, we have. Is that Monroe?
Present, and that's not live. I'm not sure what's happening. It's like
It-
behind. with
It's
the
behind a
recording.
little bit.
Yeah, it
Okay.
always-
It's like a
Okay.
10-second
I didn't know if that was.
10-second
okay.
delay. Yeah, no, thank you.
Ms. Basilega.
Here.
Steve Guzza is absent. Mr. Mitchell,
Here.
Mayor Kelly,
Here.
Junior Council Member James Mitchell,
Here.
Jean Hallinan,
Here.
Bob Shields,
Here.
Solicitor Krolak,
Here.
and our Junior Council Member, Lauren is absent this evening, and Ronnie Lopez is also absent. The first item on our agenda is our public comment. Do we have anybody who would like to address council? You can take the podium if you would.
Do we wait for our thing on the agenda to be there, the rainbow crosswalk, or do we? Yeah.
Well, it's
Public
public
comments, it's
comment.
public.
You can just have enough public comment.
You can definitely take the podium and bring it to our attention. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have written on behalf of our group, NEPA Neighbors United for Democracy. And I had inquired about getting a rainbow crosswalk installed. And I'm just gonna briefly say what I wrote as for my reasoning. So my main reason for the request is that it's a symbol of inclusion, not just for the LGBTQ community, but for the rest of us too. This is a positive gesture that can make people feel that they're a valued part of the community despite any differences. I'm aware that some may see it as divisive, but I strongly assert that public opposition would be an expression of bigotry and should not be tolerated. It's less important to make people comfortable and more important to make the communities who've been dehumanized by bigotry feel more safe. I really feel this would give our community a sense of pride in ourselves, and it would do the same for all those who may not feel included otherwise. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. You,
Do you have something else you?
I was gonna speak about it too, but can-
certainly we get the podium too.
thanks. My name is Loring Scarrow. We've lived here, Jennifer and me have lived here for probably 10 or 12 years, probably longer than that really, but thinking about the crosswalk, I don't want to take up too much time, but I ran across a YouTube video this morning. It was a Mr. Rogers video from like the 1960s, 70s, still black and white. And it was at a time when during segregation and black people weren't allowed in a pool with white people down south. And what Mr. Rogers did was he had a little kid pool set up and he had he was sitting there like with his feet in the pool, and a black police officer came by and he said, "Hey, listen, you want to come and soak your feet in the pool?" So they were, he was trying to show that it's okay to be, in the water with somebody who's different, I guess. I don't know, but so I thought that was kind of an interesting part of history, but it also got me thinking about somebody I know. Their child is black and they are afraid to have, their child is, in their teens, but they're afraid to allow their child to go into stores in Clark Summit and, the area because of possible something that can happen, you know, and, that breaks my heart for, you know, a child. I mean, I grew up all around here and I did whatever, you know,
Right.
and, the freedom to not be afraid to go in and do, you know, all these things. And my parents didn't have to worry about that either, you know?
Right.
So, that, and I don't think there's any, I don't know that there was ever any outright, racism, but, it's that perception that a family has or that some outsider has. And if it was just that one person, I worked with a guy recently, a couple years ago, but, said, hey, you should come move to Clark Summit. And, he's black and he said, right, yeah, right. It's like, almost like, and it was in a conversation of race kind of in the mix. And, basically it was a feeling of like, he's not welcome there, you know, and I don't think that's true. I don't know any of my neighbors who would think that. And,
Not at all.
you know, so as far as perceptions go, I think, a rainbow crosswalk could, do something. It says that we're not, that you are welcome here. People are welcome here, of all kinds. And I've seen it. I do a lot of traveling around, north and south, and I'd say mainly north. I've seen them in towns and they are kind of hipster towns, like things are going on in there, you know, and, I just think like, I think it says something about the place, you know, so, that's all I have. Thanks.
Well, you know what, Lauren, I just wanted to give you a little background on, we were the first one in Lackawanna County to have a black mayor in Clark Summit, a council member, and we have always felt open arms to anybody that wanted to participate in anything here in Clark Summit. I feel very strong that our merchants would be very welcoming to them. And as a matter of fact, when our mayor was elected, he was one of the highest vote getters in Clark Summit. So it shows how accepting they are to, you know, anyone that would be running and quality people. So we, in any way we can, we want to get that message out that everybody is welcome
I agree.
to Clark Summit.
I appreciate that.
Everybody, sure.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for speaking tonight. My son and daughter are black, so I truly appreciate your words.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And they're welcome at school and they do very well, you know. So, and you can tell your brother Chris that I said hello.
He's out in California now.
Is that where he
Yeah,
is? Oh my gosh, okay. Thank you, Lauren,
see you.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
And we don't have Mark Spatz here tonight, but
I don't know if did anybody else want to address council? It's not their
You're
thing.
more than welcome to get
Okay.
up now, yes.
Sure.
I have, Luke on the agenda.
Okay.
right.
Yes, so please.
My name is Luke Dubois. I moved here with my wife and now 6-month-old, who's just in her belly at the time, back in December. And we bought a house in Clark Summit. I reached out to Jen a little bit back, or a few weeks ago, to see how I could get involved. I have a background in city planning. I have a master's degree in city planning from the University of Utah, and about a year as a long-range planner for a city out in Washington State. Just wanted to see how I can get involved with local planning in my community. And I think I'm being considered as an alternate or something for the SAPA committee.
So we sent council his resume and one that expressed your interest in the SAPA committee. Council had voted for John Jeffrey and John Kazista. I found out afterwards, John Jeffrey is not eligible because he's
Right.
on the zoning hearing board. So we do still need an alternate for our SAPA
Right.
committee. So, Luke reached out and I thought, boy, this is something. So I thought I
Exactly, yeah.
would
Luke, you have a very impressive resume.
Really? You see it?
Yeah.
I sent it to council.
And it's really great you want to be involved with the community, and I think SAPA will be a great place to start it. And maybe if something opens up in like the planning or the zoning,
Exactly.
I don't know, I hope you maybe would consider that, you know.
I'd be interested, yeah, when we moved back across the country, I needed to find something remote because that job required me to be in person. So I picked up something, but I'm always interested in planning and trying to get my foot back in the door.
And how do you like living in Clark Summit? Are you originally from out west or?
I know, I'm originally from Colorado, so
Oh, wow.
Pennsylvania is all new to me for the most part. I've been out here a few times, and we ended up actually picking here because my wife's cousin lives in Clark's Green. So we wanted to be closer to family, and her aunt is out here too. They just bought in Clark's Green as well.
That's
Nice.
great. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful place to raise a family.
Wonderful, yes,
It has been
absolutely.
so far. We love our neighbors and it's been great.
Wonderful.
So I guess next week we could vote on Luke?
Next week we
I
can
really
vote.
appreciate you coming forward
Mhm.
and willing to jump in, and it definitely does open a door for you with the borough.
Absolutely.
Great meeting y'all.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Did you want to address councilman?
No, I was just here supporting.
Okay, thank you.
These are solar sidewalk.
So, we had, I think Jen thought Mark Spatz might be here tonight as well. And really the solar crosswalk topic is related to a broader one of CDBG. So I just wanted to kind of speak to that a little bit
Sure.
from my perspective here. I would actually like to ask Jen, if you can reach out to Joe Ravinsky and ask if he can come next week to answer questions for us.
Sure.
Because for me, as I think about what Mark presented last time, and now we have a resolution here that may be on our agenda for next week. You know, we need to make decisions about the CDBG funding that we have available to us, the timing of projects. And they all kind of go together. Anything we might consider at Hillside Park, this project, they go together. And I have questions just about, for example, I have a question about why did the county give to us a resolution for us to consider on this project, but they've not given us a resolution to consider on the pavilion project, which my understanding is closer to being shovel ready than this one. There's still engineering to do on this one, a traffic study to do on this one. So I'm just unsure why we have a resolution for one and not the other. And that's the kind of thing that I'm hoping Joe could ask. We could ask of Joe and ask some questions.
Sure.
I mean, another thing I will point out relative, I'm very much in favor of the solar crosswalk project, but the difference between the projects that we might do at the park versus this or any other projects in the borough is the park is covering the engineering costs. It costs us nothing out of our budget to use our CDBG funds for anything at the park. This will cost us something out of our budget, which here to now, we don't know the amount of. We're also in the middle of a budgeting process. You know, the overall picture of we're yet to this point unclear about. So I personally would not feel comfortable voting on this resolution next week until we know exactly what number we need to put into our budget to cover this project and know if we can cover that number in our budget, which we've not yet fully drafted. We don't know where we stand. On the other hand, we know we have some expiring funds that do need to be acted upon quickly. And again, I think the first project that Mark spoke about last week or last month at Hillside Park is a better one for us to spend those soon to be expiring funds because it costs us nothing out of our budget. And again, I don't know why we're not at a resolution point yet on that one. So I just have a lot of questions I'd like to ask of Joe. I'm hoping Mark can be here as well so that we can have a really thorough discussion about CDBG and make some decisions about several of these topics. But like I said, even if we you know, are prepared to move on a resolution for the park project, I would not feel comfortable moving on this resolution for the crosswalks until we know if we can actually budget for the engineering. That's my personal opinion. That'll probably be November. We might have a better sense for that, but certainly not next week from my perspective.
Okay.
All right, I will ask Joe.
Okay. The next item is our Bissell Street property. That's private property, right, Phil?
Yeah, so I sent the council for an email, I sent it again. I reviewed the boundary lines and everything like that. It looks like the issues that are in our private property, so my suggestion, my advice to Borough Council would not to get involved in a private property dispute. I think we just put Borough Council in a bad position. Regardless of what's going on there in the history of that pathway, but it is private property, so we really have no remedy, as a council at this time.
Yeah, and I kind of feel that that's the best direction for us to go with this, you know, that, I had mentioned to Jen, I said, if there are trespassing on their property, then they can take them down to the magistrate and straighten it out that way, where we're not involved in it, you know, that's. I think that's the only solution really, to keep them on that. So if you want to just let them know that, Jen.
You want me to just let them contact them and let them know that we're not involved any longer?
Yeah, so
with
we,
any-
there's nothing that the borough can do to remedy their situation.
Exactly.
You got it. Try, I can contact them, no problem.
The next item is our Decker property.
I spoke with Mr. Decker twice on the phone. Yeah, I extended the proposal relative to the easement for set price, and he was not interested in that. It didn't seem like. He does, I know that there were discussions in the past. He does seem closer to selling it than I
Yeah,
think may have been lit on. But his hold up again is the sewer issue, so any negotiations that he wanted relative to that property would have to include some sort of give and take by the borough on his sewer bills was essentially what was relayed to me. So I think that kind of puts us like, so I don't think throwing X amount of money for an easement, for a term easement is gonna be anything that's gonna be enticing to him to agree to.
And Jen, do we have the numbers, I guess, for possibly removing the clock tower and the, I guess, the
So I
electric box?
actually just emailed back and forth with the gentleman from Walsh Electric. So he can also give us the cost to remove the actual box, the
Right.
mechanism over at the Decker property. So I have to find out, because I have the price, it was around $5,000 to put the to move the electricity and put it in the borough building to access, but I don't have the price for him to remove it also. So he was gonna get that for me.
And obviously, we want to make sure we do it right the first time. So I mean,
Right.
if we have to pay a little extra, I don't think that's a bad
Right.
thing.
Right, yeah, so when I get that, I can send it over to everybody, just.
And then the clock, that's gonna be a couple thousand if we had to.
So it was around 2,000, and that was for the removal of the clock and the concrete. That was for both.
And then do we want to do the 9/11 memorial if we're gonna?
I didn't know, did you speak with the DeFazios?
no, I have not.
Okay,
But I think the key thing here is they're gonna be putting the Christmas lights up. And we've got to be shovel ready and have the electric in our borough building. All right, the clock tower can go at another point, but I think this is our key thing. Do you, Jen, that
so I would say it's just
if we
first
vote
step
next week-
is this year, because the DPW in October, before they do the leaf collection,
Right,
they put up the Christmas lights, they do all that work.
right.
So the question is, the Decker, on the property, of course, the clock tower, they hang a snowflake. And that's where we access the lights for the Christmas lights. So we would need to know, because we buy a few spools of, I apologize, we buy a few spools of Christmas lights every year. So I was just holding off until council talked about it tonight, how you want to move forward. How do we move forward with it? I don't know legally, Drew. being on that property to access the lights, and I'm not sure where to start.
I think you still have legal access to be on that property as of right now. It's just a matter of how much more work it's gonna be to move the box and connect lights. I don't know the answer to that.
No problem.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it with budgeting maybe, and this is just my thought. I don't know if you want to stick with, we're gonna be, starting, we're gonna be in October pretty darn soon.
Sure.
They would take care of the Christmas lights, the DPW would take care of the Christmas lights, they would have everything organized. And then we would use that box for the Christmas lights this year, and for next year possibly we could budget for the removal and changeover of the electricity, the removal of the clock and the concrete, and the 9/11 memorial have that squared up. To have
So
it-
you're suggesting we wait till 2026 to do anything, or?
we could budget for it that way, number one. And number two, I don't know how quickly things are gonna happen. When it comes to the DPW, they are limited with their time. They have the first 2 weeks of October that they get everything set.
Right.
Because once leaf pickup, it goes leaf pickup to snow removal.
So, but with the lights though, I think what you, Mrs. Kirkland, what you're trying to say is clock tower could wait a little bit, the 9/11
Yes.
memorial could wait a little bit.
Right.
But the electrical box, that's, if we're gonna do anything, that would go first.
Right, we want to make sure that we're going to be able to,
So we're gonna use the electrical box this year to supply the electricity to our lights like we always do every year. And then I would think then council would make the decision just after this, or what we want to do.
and there's no issue about an easement for us to go and hit the switch.
As long as we can go hit the
Right.
switch is really,
It's the-
Well, that's the caveat we spoke about at the last meeting relative to Mr. If he wants to tell us tomorrow to get the property, then we have, X amount of time to do
Is
so.
there some way that we could make an agreement that we would just like to be able to get in there to light our Christmas lights? A one,
And the Christmas lights are actually very important to people. I've
I'm
had
sure
over
they
the
are,
years,
It's a big deal.
so many comments to me of like how important
right,
and how it looks so nice during the
it
holidays.
does, it's right, yeah.
I could certainly reach out again to Mr. Decker and.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe-
touch base on that.
Maybe we could have some sort of like, an agreement saying, by January 1st, we could ask permission to start removing stuff.
Yeah,
And then see if he's agreeable, like just give us.
next that would, I'll reach out to him and see if he's open to that.
But I think what you're saying is there's no legal certainty we can do anything. We don't have that ability.
Well, we do for a time being until he wants to essentially pull the plug for lack of a better term on us being on that property. So that's,
It's kind of balls at his court.
yeah,
But over the years, every year we've been able to do it without any issues, other than the one issue with our chief. But
I think
other
that-
than that,
I think council needs to decide if you're gonna proceed by taking down the improvements on that land, and if you are, that should be a determining factor as far as how we're gonna proceed, because
sure,
if council's planning on taking down the clock tower, 9/11 memorial, moving those somewhere, as well as the electric box, it may be good, depending on how long it's gonna take for that electric box to be placed across the street, to get on that sooner rather than later, just to avoid any sort of issues on our end legally.
But if they would normally be stringing up the lights in the first 2 weeks of October.
Yeah.
There's not enough time to move an electrical box and be
Right,
able
yeah.
to do that.
that's why I'm
Right.
thinking
That
if we
was
can
the
keep it
big
as is
concern.
this year because they have to work
right,
within, by the first week of October, it needs to be done.
yeah,
I think it's too rushed
right.
to take care of that. And we can also budget for it for next year too.
Drew, I have a question.
Sure.
If we do end up determining to essentially return that piece of property to its original condition, we remove everything, we move everything. Does that, are we then relieved of our obligation to maintain the
Yes,
property?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
Does Mr. Decker know that?
I'm not aware if he knows that or not.
I would make
could
him aware of that.
Speak to him about that. Again, he's under the impression, from speaking with him, my impression is that he's looking to sell the property
Yeah.
sooner rather than later, so I could certainly make him aware of that.
Because that would be not only grass cutting, weed whacking, but would it also be sidewalk clearing.
Shoveling
So I want
sidewalks.
So that's not
Yeah.
insignificant from the perspective of
Exactly,
property
yeah.
owner.
Correct.
But that's a heavily trafficked piece of
Exactly,
property as
yeah,
well.
Yeah.
both sides, yeah.
So I can
So
certainly reach out to them.
that may be a good point to bring up with them, that we would still continue to maintain it.
Well, I don't think we would. If we're going to restore it, I do not think we should continue to remain it, to maintain it. If, I personally think we ought to perhaps communicate to him that our intention, and I don't think we should do that this week. I think, I don't know if we need to take official action on this next week on our agenda or not, but my current thinking is we should communicate to him our intention to budget in 2026 to remove the clock tower and the other improvements and return it to its original condition. And when we do that, he should be aware that we are then under no continued obligation to maintain the property. And so he should simply plan for that. And perhaps that will change his perspective about negotiating with an offer that you made him. I don't know.
I could certainly reach out and see, based on my conversations, I don't think outside of including anything with sewer, because that's his biggest sticking point. There's not gonna be any sort of meeting of the minds there. But I could certainly reach out and try to have another conversation. He was very pleasant to deal with when I spoke with him twice. He's a very nice gentleman. He just has long-standing issues with regard to the sewer that everyone's aware of, so.
Right, did he give you any numbers at all that,
He gave me the numbers relative to his sewer and what,
oh, yeah,
He
but I
thinks
mean,
he should
well,
be-
he would charge us just for us to learn to use the electrical box.
we didn't even get to numbers just because we're kind of at an impasse as it relates to
Right, okay.
one number for an easement, especially because he wants to sell. And then versus, his outstanding issues with other borough issues. So,
Sure.
we didn't even get to discuss what number would be appealing to him to come to the table with.
Well, I think if we were gonna maintain it till the first of the year, shoveling snow and whatever, that would be a draw for him too, to let us get into our electrical box,
And it's
You
already
could work it out with
October,
them,
we're
maybe,
already
too.
at October, so it's
Right.
not much more time to go.
Exactly, yeah.
So you want to give permission for us to access our electrical box for the Christmas lights this year? Okay, just want to make sure we're on the same page.
And then when do you want that, when do the lights typically come down? Is there a time frame in which, just in case he asks,
They don't come down, they just turn off.
or turn off, stop using the box, I suppose?
Right after Russian Christmas.
But when do, we light them before Thanksgiving, is it actually? Usually the
Right after.
town
Like
has a
first
big
There is a
Friday,
for
I
the
think they're
lighting
lit
in
on
town.
first Friday, right?
Yeah,
I don't have.
that was
the-
like right after Thanksgiving, or like,
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
but I'll reach out and see if we can get into.
You
this
could check with the
January.
ABPA, they know when they would certainly.
Right, for like the town lighting. I
Exactly,
don't know
good.
when they do that.
No problem.
Okay, we'll find that out.
Okay,
And do we want to put the snowflake up on the clock like we usually do?
well, if we have the electricity there, we can light it, so we would do that.
Okay, so we'll just keep up with that. Okay, no problem.
And
And then for the memorial, Jerry, are you gonna reach out to the DeFazios? Our last meeting, we talked about it. You thought you had a
yeah,
connection, contact?
I definitely will find out. I know, she passed away, Beverly DeFazio, but Larry is still living, so.
Okay, if you need help, we can
Oh,
work on it. Just let's start that conversation with them too. Okay.
And there may be a special place that they would like to have it, maybe at our Veterans Park or something like that,
We can at least get the conversation going.
That's nice.
Put it in a respectable place, that's what.
So once I get the quote, I'll send that over to council. I'll email that out to you.
Okay. And of course, we've gone over the rainbow crosswalk. And we've discussed this, of course, we can't put anything on State Street because we don't own State Street. It would have to be one of our side streets. Is there any places that you thought you would like to see it or?
I mean, the one consideration I would like to make is that as far as the division goes, I wouldn't want it to impose on anyone's business where somebody would boycott the business because of it. So
Right,
So I would like to not have it affect people negatively. And I'm not sure what the options are, but I'm thinking more just not near the business side unless
Right.
they, of course, were,
well, see, that's
On
State,
board.
They're all on State
well, the
Street.
Depot Street's yours though, isn't it?
Pardon?
Isn't Depot Street?
Depot's streets that way.
I don't have a very good sense of direction, sorry. The street where,
Side street.
kind of where we're on, if you keep going,
Right here.
right?
Behind the rest.
Yeah, like
State
that.
Street and then
Do
the
you own
diner.
that? Do you own that? Brooke?
It's a borough
Is
street.
that a borough
Yeah.
street?
Oh, yeah, that's a
So
girl.
like that's where the businesses are, so like if they were on board, obviously that would be a great place, but if, you know, they weren't, then a non-business street,
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, we'll certainly look into it and see
Could we
what,
even have the option to make one?
To make
The crosswalk, to make it a rainbow as opposed to.
so
white, do you know?
who
the,
would be painting the crosswalks then?
I did look into that and, so I think I was hoping to see if it was even, going to be considered first.
Sure.
But there's something called, and it's expensive, so I don't know if we could do a fundraiser and try to like, our group is willing to try to like help along with this.
Okay.
But there's something called, I think, thermoplastic tape. I don't know if that's the correct thing, but it's a safety thing, that provides like a non-stick or like a non-slide surface. Just because I was looking into the safety concerns of doing this, and that was one of the options I saw. So I would have to look further into that if it's even
Sure.
something that would be on the table.
Okay.
Or a solar powered rainbow crosswalk.
Yeah, that would work as well.
That would be ideal.
Rainbow LED lights.
I'd like to just put on record, I'm all for all your kind words. I appreciated them truly. So I am all for it, but our solicitor would probably have to look into a few things first.
yeah, so I looked into it based upon the letter that was received last week. It's not prohibited, but based on federal and state guidelines, it's discouraged based upon trying to keep continuity of crosswalks depending on where it's at. So while it's not strictly prohibited under the federal guidelines or the state guidelines through PennDOT, it is discouraged to do so. So that's just something that council should take into consideration when doing it, and if you choose to go forward, I'm where to put that.
Can I add something to that?
Certainly.
Because, I had thought of that as well, and I was wondering if there could be an alternative to a crosswalk if a crosswalk wasn't optional. Just some way that we can incorporate the symbol into our community. And I didn't really get I didn't come up with any good ideas, but I'm certainly willing to
Okay.
try.
Well, if you can still keep doing your research and bring it to us, we can definitely, would be happy to work along with you on that.
Okay, I appreciate that a lot.
Sure, sure.
I'm glad you raised the business impact, because from my perspective, if we take sort of a do no harm approach to it, then, I personally am very much in favor of symbols of displays of tolerance. But I think that do no harm is important, both from a business standpoint, a safety standpoint. There's a lot of practical considerations to think through.
Sure.
that make it complicated. And then there's also cost implications, obviously. So I don't think it would be something we would look at and say, we will spend money to do this. So that would also be a consideration, is how is the work getting done? Who's doing it? What goes into that? There's just a lot of practical considerations that would need to be answered.
I agree.
We have had other organizations that have come to us and requested this, that, or the other. And if you do it for one, you would have to do it for all. So we would be more than happy to work with you on this. And like you said, doing a fundraiser or whatever it would take, we certainly would be willing to jump in and help you there too.
I appreciate that. Definitely, our goal, I think, was for permission, not funds.
Sure,
That was our line of thinking.
okay. Well, you just bring in the information to us and we'll see, what direction we could go with it. Like you said, if it doesn't have to be a crosswalk in particular, it could be something else that would be significant,
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
I know we have the signs, Tree City here in Park Summit too. We can get a really nice sign. We'd be more than happy to consider that too.
I mean, that sounds actually, it sounds more feasible than the crosswalk.
Sure.
So I would love to see the crosswalk. I mean, that would be, I think, amazing. I'd like to see it in other places, but feasibility is more important, and I'm
Right.
definitely happy to go down that avenue.
Okay, well, you just keep bringing the information to us and we'll certainly see what direction we can work with it.
Thank you, thank you.
I know you put a lot of work in it so far too.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. The next item is our bike racks.
Received an email. It's, she's a, Glenburn resident. And I guess she had some trouble going to CBS, didn't want to leave her e-bike out, brought it in, and CBS gave her a hard time, so she was asking about the borough. Just if there's anything we can do for bike racks, or she just was inquiring.
I don't see a lot of people riding bikes into downtown or anything like that. I see Mr. Fanning and his bike, that, I don't know if you've seen that thing. but
Yes, I have.
That's the only person I see him.
It's the first time it's ever been brought to my attention.
Big under advisement.
It's an interesting idea, but I agree. How much demand is there for it? Specifically CVS? Perhaps CVS should put a bike rack in front of their store.
That's what I'm saying.
But I would refer something like this to the AVPA if they would want to put one to encourage bike traffic to, to drive traffic to their businesses. Wonderful. That's my thought.
Okay, well, I'll do that. I'll forward that to them, and so I'll forward it to them, and then we don't want it on the agenda, correct?
Yeah, but the bike rack once
Yeah,
you.
okay, put on next month, or maybe after you're back from the.
Okay.
Do you want the bike,
Sure.
do you want to keep that on the agenda for next week, or do you want to wait to have that?
Or just forward it to ABPA, whatever.
Maybe just forward it to the ABPA and let them take a look at it and see what their thoughts are on it. Yeah, it's actually up to the business people to.
I can take care of that, no
If they
problem.
want one in front of their business,
Yeah, no problem, I can take care of that.
I was looking at the agenda, I saw there's OLP School Resource Officer. Do you have any, before we vote on that next week or discuss that? do you have any- Is that a?
Oh, I see. Chris Hearns was approached by OLP. They were just looking into a school resource officer, but they would have to have, there would still be meetings, and it was just brought up. from what I understand. So just have it on the agenda, but nothing was.
But they're not
been
looking for like a
discussed.
full-time officer, they're just looking for like.
Oh, and I apologize, I don't have details, but Chris also, before he left on his vacation, he said that there's nothing is
It's just kind of like early discussions.
early discussions. Exactly. So I just put it on there because I didn't want to forget to, if we wanted to talk about it, to put it on there.
And the other thing is, I guess, so with the project for Hillside Park and the project for the solar crosswalks, can we do both of them? I mean, we could do the money for the park now and then do the crosswalks money.
If there's enough money.
I know the numbers pretty well. I
Oh.
mean, I think even if Mark was talking about bringing a second project, the
Yeah,
senior
right.
center improvement project.
Right.
Even if we did all three of those.
Yes.
There's still, I believe, 6 figures worth of funds available to us, even after doing all three.
Oh,
So
okay.
we can do them all. It's just a matter of timing.
Okay.
And it's a matter of, specifically relating to the crosswalks.
Right.
We will have to spend money on the engineering for those, and so
Right.
we need to just plan for that.
Mhm.
But we have one set of expiring funds. We do need a project to spend those.
Mm-hmm.
Path of least resistance there, in my opinion, is the first project that's basically ready to go to the park. But then we can do both of the additional projects, senior center improvements and the crosswalks
Mhm.
after that,
Mhm.
as soon as next year.
2026.
They could all happen
Mhm.
next year, and
Mhm.
we'll still have funds left over to do
Mhm.
other things that may come up.
So, I mean, is it possible to put on the agenda for next week, the solar crosswalks and the first project for Hillside Park?
Sure, of course, yeah. And then I'll,
Hopefully we can get
yeah,
a resolution for the Hillside Park one.
yes.
Yes, if we can get a resolution for that, I think Joe is looking to get a resolution passed for something to spend those dollars. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah.
I was surprised we got the resolution so quickly for the solar project.
Same, given that the other one was more
I agree.
dense,
I was
thought.
very surprised. Now I know, Bob Nagley did tell me he doesn't think a traffic study needs
Is
to be,
necessary.
is necessary, so that could have been part of it, where they feel like it's further along. Also, these plans were done, a couple of years ago. Because this has been discussed before.
Yeah.
This solar project, so this information was also more readily available than starting from zero. So that could be part of it, but yes, I agree. I was surprised it was here so quickly, but I will find out from Joe.
We could conceivably pass a resolution to spend those expiring funds on the project to Hillside Park next week, and then pass this resolution the
Mhm.
following month, once we know our budget and that we can budget for the engineering costs.
Yes,
That's feasible. I would just not vote. I would feel uncomfortable encumbering those as of yet unbudgeted funds.
Right.
Before
Understood.
we've completed a budget.
the only.
And by the way, just so everybody knows, you can see this very clearly in the resolution itself. We pay the county to administer this program for us. Just for this project, we would be paying the county $18,853 for their work in doing this. So when I suggest that we ask Joe to come here and answer questions for us, we're paying them
Mhm.
to do this work. So we need to keep that in mind. And I think, I know Mark has been somewhat frustrated that it has taken so long, which is why I'm surprised this one went so fast.
Right, I agree.
Because again, we're paying the county to do this work on our behalf.
Yep, and Joe
Just
has
wanna point that out.
been, yep, absolutely. Joe, I'll get in touch with him, but he's been very receptive. Whenever you send him questions, emails about different projects, he's been very
Sure.
receptive, so.
So maybe we can keep both of them on the agenda.
Okay, will do.
Maybe you could reach out to Joe.
Yep, I will.
Maybe get a resolution for the park one.
Okay.
But I would just, I think it's good to keep the ball rolling on this solar
Yeah.
crosswalk. It's
Oh,
very
very
exciting. It's something very tangible for the borough. And it's been discussed before and it hasn't really gone anywhere. So the ball is moving on this. Let's
Yeah,
roll the
and
momentum.
I would move to table it next week is what I would personally do.
Mhm.
I'm not saying take it off the agenda, but I would move to table it and consider it the following month.
My only question that I do not have the answer to is in the email, Joe Ravinsky does say that the October 13th is the public hearing, so that's why I think he was searching this through. I don't know when the next public hearing is.
All the more reason to have him here next week.
Right.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, no problem. I'll put it all on and,
I mean, it's a week, so hopefully maybe, we can get those numbers for the solar crosswalk and we get everything taken care of.
well, yeah, I'm waiting for the cost, the engineering costs. So, and if I can, I'll see if I can get that information a little sooner.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
No problem.
Okay, and just review our agenda for next week. Is there anything you would like to add or eliminate?
Just the potential, if we're able to have a resolution to consider relating to the pavilion project, that would need to go on the agenda.
Yes, so it is the pavilion project.
That's the first one up, yeah.
Okay, and then it was the repairs, I remember.
The senior center repairs would be another, I'm not sure how far along. Mark will be able to speak.
But the pavilion project was pretty far along, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been pending final review by the county and the state for several months.
All right, so I'll get an update on that.
And if the couple that was here tonight, if they reached out with ideas, are they able to come then to the meeting next
sure.
week, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Public meeting, I tell everybody if they want,
Yes, just to. put
more than
that out
welcome.
there.
Yep, they can either go through email, you're gonna receive the email, and if not, they're more than welcome to come.
Okay.
And Luke, you have a whole week to change your mind if you don't want to get involved with Clark. So,
But we're not gonna let you.
once you're in, you can never leave. So.
Luke, I moved to this borough when this guy over here was 2 years old, and now he's at the table with me, so that's what you have to look forward to.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Oh, is that your son?
That is my son.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I will remove the bike racks, so, and send the email to the ABPA.
Are you a skier? You must be a skier, Utah, right?
I haven't skied lately. I enjoy it though.
Oh, but out there you must have got quite a bit to do.
I didn't go in Utah, but when I was growing up in Colorado, I'd ski out there. But yeah, skiing, yeah. Utah skiing, I hear is something else. I was in undergrad and did not put the money toward going skiing. I had plenty of, people in my classes going skiing like every weekend, but I was like, yeah, my
Not
student
my
loans
cup of
wouldn't
tea.
cover that.
Yeah.
Didn't have the grades, right? That's
Yeah.
great.
I have a sister in Colorado and a sister in Utah. They
Yeah.
left Pennsylvania to go there, yeah. They love it.
And my kids went out to Colorado to go skiing.
Yeah.
And they belong to the ski club here, I mean, in Elk Mountain.
Good
everywhere, but
skiers
they-
too, right?
Yeah, they love it, so.
Yeah, I'd like to go again, but it's been a few years.
Right. I've got a lot on your plate right now.
Very busy.
Good. Well, we're glad that you're taking an interest in us too.
Yeah, of course. But I guess you're working from home, is that what it is?
Yes, so I am a data analyst, at a company in New Mexico, fully remote and, doing a lot of GIS mapping and, that sort of thing.
Neat.
Wow.
Thanks again for your
Yeah,
interest.
thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. So they will vote next week. If
Okay.
you're here, terrific. If you're not, I'll email you or, so we'll be in touch.
Okay,
Yeah, I appreciate it.
yeah, of course.
Are we adjourned
Don't
here?
adjourn, right? That's fine.
Next week.
We're ready to. adjourn.
Great meeting y'all.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Conversation with him. He's charming, but he's very